to be tempted by the devil. So, look at this real closely. Then Jesus, it's not Jesus and his disciples, just Jesus alone, was led up by the Spirit. Okay, God led him to this alone moment. Okay, into the wilderness. That's an alone place, right? To be tempted by the devil. Now, God didn't tempt Jesus. James 1:13 tells us that God doesn't tempt anyone. But God led Jesus into this place of testing. By the way, the wilderness in the Bible is usually a place of testing. Anytime you see wilderness. In school you have some group projects, right? Sometimes. But most of the time, there's tests, right? Where it's just you and the paper, or just you and the quiz, right? You have to do them alone. It's an opportunity to see what you're made of. And here, Jesus in the wilderness, alone. He's been preparing for this test. Verse 2, he's been fasting for 40 days. Your life is going to have moments of testing too. There's going to be moments where your faith will be put to the test. The things that you say you believe, do you really? You say that you trust God, but do you really? You say that God is the most important thing in your life. Is He really? You're going to have moments where you're alone. And you'll be tested, and you'll have to get to see what we're made of. Will we pass or fail? I love Home Alone. One of the first movies that I can remember loving as a kid and wanting to watch over and over and over again. It's a classic. It's got great replay value. You know, it's one of those you could just watch over and over and over. And I don't think I'd ever thought about it until this past week. But there's something really familiar about this story, isn't there? A bratty son who becomes estranged from his family. A son who didn't leave his family on the best terms. A son who learns, being alone isn't what I thought it was going to be. And then comes the best part of the story, the reunion. The son says, I messed up, but all that matters to the father is that the son is back home with him safe. I'm going to ask the guys upstairs, if you don't mind, to just cut the live feed for a second.